Hello, and welcome to your virtual field trip. My name is Deb, and I'm a teacher working at School Mental Health Ontario. We've partnered with our friends at OFIA to offer these virtual field trip videos found in our lesson plans on stress management and coping. This is the 5th video in the series. We've learned about breathing, muscle relaxation, visualization, and distraction. Today, we are learning about thought changing as a possible strategy to help us cope with stress. Thought changing. That may be a new term for you. What does it mean? Well, have you ever noticed that sometimes you might get stuck thinking negative thoughts or assuming that other people might be thinking or feeling a certain way about you? Or have you ever found yourself worrying about the future and what may or may not happen? We call these thinking traps, and they can happen to any of us. While these thoughts are often unrealistic or untrue, they can impact how we feel about ourselves and others. This virtual field trip will focus on thought-changing strategies to help us slow down and notice. We can begin to identify thinking traps while developing skills to help us challenge and restructure our thinking in healthy ways. Remember, each of us is unique, and strategies that work for some might not work for others, and that's okay. It's our hope that throughout this virtual field trip video series, you'll find something that works for you. Let's get started.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well during these times. My name is Huda, and I'm a social worker at School Mental Health Ontario. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions all influence one another, which impacts the way we think, feel, and act each day. Sometimes they interact in a good way, and sometimes it's more difficult. For example, if you think you're not prepared for a test or an exam, you're going to feel nervous, and maybe take action by studying a bit more than you normally would. This is great because your thoughts, emotions, and actions work together to make you more prepared for your test or exam. Sometimes negative thoughts can pop up as an automatic response to a stressor, like a test or exam. Identifying and then replacing an unhelpful thought is a skill we can develop to help provide us with a way to gain perspective on the situation. The skills we develop using thought-changing strategies can support the following: self-awareness, self-monitoring, communication of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. These are all needed for a healthy emotional state. Sometimes it's hard to notice and challenge our unhelpful thinking because there are often persistent thoughts. With practice, it can become easier. If you struggle to come up with positive responses to replace your unhelpful thoughts, try to put yourself in the mindset of a friend. How would you respond if your friend was having the same unhelpful thought? Let's practice a few together. I'll give an example of an unhelpful thought that someone might have, and then your class will come up with a helpful thought to shift the thinking. Here's the unhelpful thought: I made a mistake. I'm a bad person. Let's shift that thinking with this helpful thought: I'm a good person. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. Okay, now I'm going to share an unhelpful thought. Once you've heard or read the thought, pause the video and come up with a few helpful thought responses to replace it. My friend ignored my message. They probably don't like me anymore. Pause the video now and discuss a possible helpful thought to replace it. Welcome back. I'm sure you came up with some helpful thoughts. Here's one example that I thought of. Maybe my friend was busy or distracted. I'll reach out again. Here's one last unhelpful thought: I can't do this. Pause the video now and discuss a possible helpful thought to replace it. Welcome back. I'm sure you came up with another helpful thought. Here's one example that I thought of. This is challenging, but I'm going to try my best. Thank you for participating. It can be overwhelming to learn to pause and notice a connection between our thoughts and our feelings. The good news is that, like any new skill, the more we practice, the easier it becomes. Be gentle with yourself.
This next activity is called SOS. Sometimes we can get stuck in thinking traps where we replay unhelpful or negative thoughts or assumptions over and over in our minds. SOS is another strategy we can use to help us identify and replace negative self-talk. SOS is an acronym. S is for stop. When you identify that you're thinking something negative, stop and take a moment to address the thought. O is for observe. Observe and notice your thought. Reflect on where your thoughts are coming from. And then S, shift. Replace the thought with something positive to shift your thinking. Next time you notice that you're stuck in a negative thinking trap, try repeating this SOS strategy.
Hi, my name is Andrea and I'm an educator. I'm also an OFIA ambassador. I love learning new things, such as trying a new sport or activity, meeting new people, or even learning a new hobby like cooking, playing an instrument, or even painting. This makes me feel good, but sometimes I have feelings of anxiousness. These are some feelings that pop into my head when I have these feelings. I am feeling anxious about this, and I know I won't be good at it. I like meeting new people, but will they like me? This isn't working for me. I'm out. When I get stuck in these thinking traps, here's a strategy that I find helpful. Here's an activity called 4 square breathing, and it works like this. Picture a square. Place your focus at the corner of the square. When you are ready, inhale for 4 counts as you move along the side of the square. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then hold your breath as you move across the top of the square. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Then you will exhale as you move down the side of the square for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you will hold that as you move across the bottom of the square. 1, 2, 3, 4, as you return back to where you started. When I practice the 4 square breathing, my breathing slows down and becomes more regular. I notice that I'm feeling less tense and have a better sense of calm. My thoughts are more clear. I am able to refocus. Here's a video to help guide your practice. Wow. I notice the way I'm feeling is changing how I'm thinking. I feel more calm, more relaxed. My thoughts are more positive.
Let's take a moment to reflect. What do you notice when you pause and reflect on the feelings behind your thoughts? What do you notice when you pause and reflect on how a certain thought makes you feel? Were there activities in this video that you think would be helpful for you when you're stuck in a thinking trap? Educators, please refer to the virtual field trip lesson plan for activities to help consolidate this learning. We also encourage you to revisit the Student Mental Health Action Kit for further supports and resources. Thank you for joining OFIA and School Mental Health Ontario on this virtual field trip. We hope you find these strategies helpful. Educators, don't forget to stay connected by following OFIA on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at OFIA Canada. Also, follow School Mental Health Ontario at SMHO_SMSO on Twitter, and follow our youth account on Instagram at ThriveSMH.